Open source projects need a place to host their code so that people can have access to it. GitHub and other hosting providers take a lot of the effort of doing this away from the project and enable it to concentrate on its actual work. The Git revision control system itself began as an offshoot of the Linux kernel development community and was created by Linus himself in 2005. However, it could easily be used for any project with similar needs, primarily having a large, geographically separated group of contributors and a very open development method and many frequent releases. The GitHub site was founded in 2008 and it has grown exponentially. In 2018, it had 30 million users and 60 million repositories. Before wide use of GitHub and similar websites, projects need to set up their own servers to host repositories, set things up, administer, make sure things are secure, etc. By using GitHub and others, a project can concentrate on its actual code and not having to deal with that sort of thing, though some projects obviously still do it themselves. Other providers are GitLab, Gitkraken, and Launchpad that do similar things, though somewhat different, of course, than GitHub. There are two kinds of repositories on GitHub, public and private. For a large-scale open source project, people generally use a public repository. Anybody can get permission to copy or fork a repository, download its contents. Uploading to the repository and making contributions requires permission that has to be given by whoever owns the repository. The vast majority of open source projects are hosted on public repositories. With a private one, the owner restricts access to a named list of collaborators, and only those people can actually use the repository and be able to update it. This costs money, though it's not expensive, and it's used by many organizations for proprietary code or for even open source code that they're not quite ready to open up yet. Originally, Git was written with only a command line interface, which GitHub certainly respects, but there's also graphical interface, or GUI, which is easily accessible from any browser on any operating system. It's easy to ignore the GUI if you want to just work from the command line, and many experienced users find this a more attractive way to work. So that's just a brief introduction of how people use GitHub and other hosting providers so they can concentrate on their work and not having to host a repository server.